Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into why building that digital footprint is so important for lasting impact, for trust.
Yeah.
We've got some great material here mapping out that journey.
Absolutely. And what jumps out right away is, getting started often feels like, well, an uphill battle, really low engagement sometimes at the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah, the sources point out those common hurdles like inconsistency, maybe not having a clear focus,
Hmm.
or even, not being sure who you're actually talking to, and slow growth. Let's face it, that can be discouraging,
It really can.
but it's a long game, right?
It is. And that's sort of our mission for this deep dive. Pulling out the key strategies for pushing through that initial phase to actually see the benefits of, having that presence online.
Okay, let's get into it. That first year, it seems pivotal. The sources really hammer home this idea of a marathon mindset.
Yeah, not a sprint, definitely not expecting instant results.
Right. And it's about putting out value,
Sure.
genuine stuff.
Exactly. Real value, authentic content, not just like chasing likes or follower numbers, those vanity metrics.
Okay.
And it's also about learning and adapting, paying attention to the feedback you do get, even if it's small at first, and tweaking things. It's like a constant refinement process.
Makes sense. You test things out, see what lands, adjust course. So then there's this concept of a tipping point when things start to click.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. The sources show how just sticking with it, that consistency, it pays off. It signals reliability, for one.
To your audience.
To your audience, yeah, and even to algorithms, helping them figure out where you fit. It starts to compound.
Compounding effort. So the growth isn't always linear.
Not at all. And you start seeing what they call passive impact. Your content is out there doing its thing, even when you're not actively working on it. Plus, organic growth starts to kick in, people finding your stuff naturally.
That passive impact idea is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Content working 24/7. Which kind of leads us to evergreen content, doesn't it?
It does. That's the content with staying power. Like the example of a video that's 2 years old but still pulling in daily views.
Wow.
And the key thing there is the potential for, well, even passive income sometimes. If you monetize useful guides or tutorials that stay relevant, that value lasts.
And beyond just views or income, there's this lasting engagement idea on social media, like posts getting comments months later.
Exactly. The conversation doesn't just die after 24 hours. And
Yeah.
things like sharing, say, personal stories about career challenges,
Oh, yeah.
that kind of vulnerability, it builds what they call thought leadership. It boosts your credibility, makes you relatable, builds trust.
So consistency plus value, plus maybe some personal insight,
Yeah.
that really builds trust and authority over time. The sources say reliable content gains recognition.
It does. And that recognition often fuels more creation because you get positive feedback, right?
Right. That makes sense. A positive loop.
And you might even see a sort of community forming around your work, people who actively engage and support what you do.
That must feel pretty good when your stuff actually starts to, inspire people or genuinely solve problems for them.
It's incredibly rewarding. The sources talk about a creative shift here.
Yeah.
You move from feeling pressure to create to actually finding joy in it.
From obligation to enjoyment.
Precisely. And then you might find your work starts inspiring other people. They might look up to what you've built. That's real impact.
Okay, so you've built this foundation, things are clicking. How do you keep it going? How do you scale?
Yeah.
Material mentions a few things.
Yeah, some key strategies are things like repurposing content, taking a blog post and turning it into social snippets or a video maybe.
Smart. Get more mileage.
Exactly. Also looking for collaborations to reach new audiences.
Mm.
And just building routines, creating systematically so it doesn't feel overwhelming.
So it becomes part of your workflow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so wrapping up, it really sounds like pushing through those early, sometimes difficult stages is crucial. An investment, really.
Definitely. The long-term benefits are clear in the sources. You build that authority, that expertise.
Lasting rewards from initial struggles.
Couldn't have said it better.
Right.
And, hopefully you learn to enjoy the journey itself, the growth, the creativity.
A great perspective. So thinking about everything we've covered, maybe a final thought for everyone listening. What's just one small piece of content you could create today, something manageable that could be a tiny seed for your own long-term digital presence, something to mull over? Thanks for this deep dive.